All right, so I chose the Musha sword because I thought it was the most sword for the money. High carbon steel. I'm sure sword enthusiasts will laugh at me, but I don't care. I think it looks awesome, especially with what I'm about to do to it. Look at that sharp blade. All right, had to find the center by just crisscrossing the corners. Now this is a 6x6 pine that you get from Lowe's or Home Depot. It was treated. I had it for about a year, so it needs to dry out a little bit. I made it for a different hammer, and I just took it off that hammer to use for this project. Very easy. It's about 9 inches long, and then you just bevel all the edges. So I thought it was better to do two small holes since this is oblong. All right, cut off that strap. Super easy. Got a little Japanese saw here, how appropriate. All right, cut off that notch. I highly recommend getting a Japanese saw. They're great. All right, so I used a small chisel. I had a rounded chisel, but the small one worked better, the small straight one. And this was actually fun. It took a while. And I'd even put that Forstner bit back in here to clean it out. I just kept doing this from both sides. There we go. A little rough inside, but that doesn't matter. That's where the epoxy's going. And she fits. A little bit of play. Yeah, I think we get the idea. Yeah, go ahead and go to the next part, please. All right, sanding it. Sanding was fun. I used 100 grit. Um, it's a softwood, pine is, and it did the job for me. It had a lot of markings. I let my daughters write on this piece of wood with pen. All right, this is boiled linseed oil, and I prefer just to use my hands with gloves rather than some kind of paintbrush or roller or cloth. So that little X-shaped thing behind it, I was just experimenting one day with another 6x6 piece of pine, and I thought, since the points of contact are so small, it would be great to let it dry once I'm done putting this linseed oil on. Now I had to put more on the end grain. It soaks up a lot more. You're about to see that. Very satisfying, and I love the look of stained wood or even wood with linseed oil on it and black. So I thought it was a good combination. So yeah, this is the end grain. You really have to add it on thick here and let it soak in, because that's how the water moved up and down the tree, or up the tree rather. And then once it's done, I can put it on that X shape or cross shape, depending how it's laying. And there's just little 3 points of contact. It says it's supposed to dry linseed oil for like 2 weeks. I mean, it was good enough to use and start messing with after about 30 minutes. All right, now it's time for the epoxy. I used 5-minute epoxy, so I had to really hurry. But I would recommend using regular epoxy that takes days to harden, because that way you've got more time to put it in, and you can use a syringe or something. You don't have to just spill it all over it like you're about to see me do. And I did use charcoal. I've got activated charcoal pills, um, and that I love the black that makes. I didn't feel like I needed to purchase a epoxy black color. So obviously, I spilled it, and I actually had to do this twice. I'm just showing you the first one, and it actually wiped off easier than I expected. And I think the charcoal made it not harden so quickly, so I had more time to mess with it. So it's done. Fits in beautifully, fits in tight, so the sword could be upside down and it's not going to fall out. And man, it just felt great. Man, can we get a Japanese samurai version of Thor, or can we put this hammer sword in an anime, please, like Demon Slayer?